So in this video, we are going to talk about why you should avoid using recursion, or maybe why you should not always use recursion. So in most of the programming languages, whether it may be C, Python, JavaScript or so much more, you should avoid using recursive functions. Well, that is because recursive functions are less efficient than their iterative counterparts. Now what are these counterparts like loops and linked lists and so on? Now since they work on the concept of stacking, we can say that they are subject to the perils of stack overflow. Now how does a recursion work? So simply what happens is that when a recursive function is invoked, function arguments, variables and return addresses are pushed to the stack. So it is consuming stack memory. After that, the control jumps to the function once more. The function code runs again, function results are copied into the return value, stack is rewound to its previous memory location, which means that memory is reclaimed, not freed, and control jumps back to the caller, which again is the previous calling of the function. So all in all, this takes up a lot of memory space. Oftentimes, all of these steps consume more resources than looping. Therefore, recursive methods are less performant. Well, another bigger problem is that the call stack is mostly allocated a really meager amount of memory. Now exceeding this small amount of memory causes the dreaded stack overflow exception to the rare end, and then each function call eats up space on the stack, and that space is not reclaimed until the function returns, and that space is not freed until the whole of the recursion ends. So just imagine having a recursive function of more than 1000 depth or maybe like 5000 depth. Yeah, that is going to take up a lot of space. So on the other hand, methods that employ iteration do not suffer from such problem. I mean, they do require space, but they don't require massive amounts of space and massive amounts of processing. So that is how we can conclude that using recursion can be good for smaller problems, but when the depth of the recursive function increases, it is better to simply switch to iterative counterparts.